Welcome to another exciting edition to GroveCityHockey Presents
Hockey in our neck of the woods, and you, sir, were a very talked about person towards the end.
I'm a fifth-year senior, kind of. Well, it's my sixth year of college. Incredible.
Hey guys, we want to say thank you to our sponsor, Cutshield, for bringing you this episode. Make sure you check them out on the link below and use the promo code for 25% off your order. Used by all 32 NHL teams and players, Cutshield is the premier protective player clothing designed by players for players. Their innovative cut-resistant clothing has prevented serious injury to numerous players, including over 30 NHL players. Cutshield gives you the peace of mind to go out and play without worrying about injury. Use our promo code GroveCityHockey, all lowercase and no space, for an additional 25% off your order today. Welcome to GCH Podcast. I'm your host, Ben W. Stock, and with me is three of Team USA's gold medal winning champions from the Pan American Games that happened down in Argentina earlier this year. This happened in August. We haven't had a chance to. We had tried to schedule this a while ago, but life kind of got in the way. And then an illness happened to me over the last couple weeks. Just now starting to get over that. But welcome. I've got Ryan Magic Marker, I've got Aydin Schweitz, and I've got Julio Fernandez, the goalie for Team USA. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time to jump on. Ryan, you were the captain of Team USA. Aydin, you were the assistant captain on Team USA. The other assistant captain was Marvin Simmons. I've been trying to get him on the pod for like 5 times, and he blows me off every time. He's like, "Yeah, let's do it this day," and then he never answers the Zoom call. So, shout out to you, Marvin.
He's a big man. He just took a new job helping run our home rink, and he's there basically all day.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Also, we played down in Colombia this year. Argentina was 2 years
Colombia.
ago.
Yeah, that's right. My bad.
We were all also in Argentina 2 years ago, but this time we were in Colombia, and that was the winner.
Yep.
Yeah. So, well, how's everybody doing tonight? Everybody doing great?
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yep, great.
Cool. Yeah, Ryan, you just got done driving. You had a training session with some clients of yours. It went pretty well. We finally got you on the video feed, and we're happy to have you back. You've been on the show a couple of times, and I'm excited to talk to you about the Pan American Games. Your first game though was against Canada. You guys, there's 4 teams in this tournament, right? Because Mexico had dropped out.
Yeah, there was 4 teams. It was us, Canada, Ecuador, and obviously the home country team, Colombia.
Yep. Yeah, and because I was talking to Team Mexico's Eric Torres. They had promised to send Mexico, but then some funding issue came up, so they opted to go to the World Skate Games in Roccaraso, Italy, instead of sending them to Colombia, which is kind of a bummer because that would have been kind of cool to see how those guys would have done. But yeah, so game 1 was against Canada. Tell us a little bit about that. I mean, that you had that's a big rivalry game right off the rip. How did you guys prepare for going into that game? Because you guys said, like I said, it's a tough game because you never know what Canada's coming with. They're always a good team to play against, but you guys handled them pretty well, right?
Yeah, I mean, I felt, we played great. It was one of them games, obviously, none of us played together before. Well, not everyone, but I would say 80% of the guys never played together before. So, you got to gel with different players. You don't know what certain people do in certain situations. And like you said, you play Canada 5 times, you're most likely getting 5 different teams. It's just the way it is. And, everyone complains about, the way the Canadian inline, the way they do things. But I don't really know much about it. I'm just going by from what I've heard over the years. So, but yeah, it was a great game. I mean, it was a good game to open up against. It was better opening up against a team like Canada, that we have a rivalry with, over like, Ecuador and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you guys played. So you guys ended up beating Canada. I think the score was 6-1, right?
Was that the first one? Yeah, I think the second one was maybe like
Ecuador.
I'm pretty. No, I'm saying the second time we played Canada. I was trying to remember which score was which, but yeah, no, 6-1 sounds right for the first one.
Yeah. So, and then Aydin, tell us a little bit about game 2. You guys played Ecuador. That one was, you guys handled that Ecuadorian team pretty well. So tell us a little bit about that game.
Yeah. So, I mean, we definitely knew what it was going to be like going into the game. It wasn't going to be the strongest competition of all time. I think that we definitely went into it with a different mindset than how we went into the game against Uruguay 2 years prior, where when we were in Argentina, we lost to Argentina in the first game, and we wanted to use Uruguay as a tone setter to everybody else and make them that we were there to play. So we went out and won 39-0. So we didn't really do that this time on purpose. Also, Ecuador was a much stronger program than Uruguay was the first time around. So they definitely put up more of a fight, and we were happy that it didn't go down the same way, and we went in with it with a different mindset. But we obviously handled it pretty well and used it to practice for our Colombian game right afterwards.
Now, did the Ecuadorian team, did they play you guys man on man, or did they go to a box system like some of the other teams do at the World Skate Games? I know that was one of the things that Aydin was talking about when they played Argentina. Well, that was the only team that did not play the box against the United States. Tell us a little bit about the Ecuadorian style of play.
They played straight man on man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't box at all.
They specifically said, allegedly, from what I heard, their coach told our coach they wanted us to go full force, like they didn't want us to lit up. So they came out with the exact same game plan.
That's awesome. I mean, that's because it from what I'm hearing from some of the other teams playing, is that a lot of times that they don't play their style. They try to change it up to force you guys to play a different style than what you're used to. You get going in Narch, you get going in State Wars. You have a certain style of play that you're used to. And then these other teams, they can play that same style, but then they change it up when they get to World Championships. And sometimes, like Aydin was saying, it's not as fun to play those type of teams because it makes for a boring game to play.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you guys get Colombia in game 3. Tell us about that game, Julio, because you guys ran into a very, very tough Colombian team. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it was definitely fun. I mean, anytime you play the host nation, it's no matter what competition, you're going to get all of the fans against you, which is awesome because that energy, it's like a soccer match. There's just thousands of people that never stop chanting, whistles, horns, drums going. So for someone who's never played in that situation before, it could be a little intimidating, but we all kind of knew what we were walking into. So we were feeling pretty confident, but in typical South American fashion, I think we would all say we ran into some alleged penalty trouble. And, I think a couple of guys were still trying to figure some stuff out in terms of like what they could get away with, like playing a body, playing a stick. I'm pretty sure the first shift of the game, we had been using pucks the whole tournament, and the first shift of the game, they threw a still mat out there. And literally Aydin like shouted from the rink 30 seconds in, it's a still mat. It's a still mat. We're all like, wait, what? Like they switched the puck randomly? Like that was crazy. So it was
multiple times throughout the game. Like they kept putting different pucks. They kept dropping different pucks at faceoffs. Like literally we'd play like 5 minutes with a still mat, and then the other ref would drop a friggin' rocket puck. And we kept yelling at them like, we don't care which one, but pick one. Like we're not going to. They're very different weights. Like they play very differently. You know, we can't be swapping pucks mid game. Like,
could you imagine if they dropped an IDS puck out there too?
Hey, I mean, IDS is my favorite puck. I would have preferred that. Yeah, I mean, I want to touch on what Julio said with the penalties. If anyone doesn't know, like, penalties are their own rule book when you play internationally, specifically in South America. Every time you go down there, it's just a free-for-all. It's whatever the refs are like. I think the refs make penalty decisions based on the fans. Like that's really what my opinion is at this point. I mean, not in the Colombian tournament or the Pan Americans, but last year we played the college all-star team, went down to Brazil and played in the South American Invitational. And in overtime of the championship game, which was currently 0-0, I got a penalty for pushing. He literally said, "Do push," and I lost my freaking mind. I am not someone who screams at refs. I barely talk at all during games, actually. And I almost shattered the glass with how hard I was punching it because I could not believe what was going on. They wouldn't pause the game. They wouldn't let me talk to anybody. And that happens all the time. Every time we get on to South America, they just make shit up to make sure that they're going to be the host country that wins their event. And you just have to know that going down there. Like, if you go to Colombia, you know, usually all of the other games they'll ref fairly, but when the U.S. plays Colombia, they're just gonna ref it for Colombia. And but it's not just that country. Like it happened in Argentina, it happened in Brazil. We're going to Brazil in 6 weeks. Like it's gonna happen again. We know that. So you have to play with that knowledge going into the game, and I think we did it better than we did at least the first time.
Yeah. Now, how is that going from, you know, and like you said, that's tough going in from one country to another country with different styles because, you know, the North American style is very physical, but then you go to Spain where it's very, very speedy. And then you go to the French league where it's very finesse, it's slow. And then the Italian even slower. And it has some combination of speed with that finesse. And no physicality in those other leagues, you know, and then those guys get together to play the U.S. In Canada, and sometimes they just can't hang, but you know they have the skill set, and then it just takes one of those one or two odd penalties, you know, because the U.S. you know are they tend to. What's the word I'm looking for? They tend to not necessarily get too physical, but they play a more physical style, and all it takes is just a bump, and next thing you know, you're getting sent to the box for a push that doesn't even exist. You know.
Actually, Schwetzy, what game did that happen in with Burgle? That high stick, remember that?
Happened in the playoff game, and he didn't get to play in the final.
Yeah, it was a semi Canada.
Yeah, that's what it was. You're right.
Burgle, he got a 10-minute and a game misconduct for a high stick because it drew blood, And okay, so there was this long discussion about it. So basically, if in roller hockey and all of the rule books, and I've looked this up because I used to use it to my advantage. There is no rule that says if you draw blood, it's an automatic major. Which in ice hockey it is. If you draw blood, it's major. And roller, there is no such rule. What the rule states is that if you have a penalty which causes injury, then it could be up to a match penalty. And that's what they said was he high sticked this guy. He wasn't wearing a face mask, and he cut like the side of his lip or something, and they considered that an injury and then gave him a suspension, and he didn't get to play in the championship game, which was so dumb. So
hey, he still got a gold medal though, baby. It's all good.
But yeah, it's a common misconception. I have to bring it up all the time, that because all these refs, they ref both, and they just assume it's the same in both, and it's not. So
no, and that's the toughest part about that too, is that you can have a really good roller hockey ref, and then have him ref an ice hockey game, and it's a completely different sport, completely different set of rules, and he can suck. You can have an amazing ice hockey ref, bring him over to inline, and he can suck just as bad as the roller hockey ref going in. You have to have a little bit of knowledge of roller going into, when you're starting to ref out. Sometimes that can be detrimental to a game because it changes the outcome and style of play, for one team.
No, you're totally right. It's I think it's the same with players as well. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've seen an ice kid who is gross at ice hockey, even like all the way up to NHL players move over and they're the worst player on the floor. And I know like Roller Dad News just posted this clip today of like Paul Bissonnette and all them talking about it, saying that, if NHL players played roller, they would dominate. No, they would not. I mean, Pat Maroon's first 3 years playing tours, he was atrocious. And then now, he's been doing it for 5-6 years and he's significantly better, obviously. But especially right off the rip, no chance. I mean, the example I always bring up is Alex Galchenyuk. Hopefully he doesn't after this, but he was coming fresh off of a $5 million contract with the Coyotes, decided to come out to an Ironman event at our home rink in Peoria, and he was the worst player in the tournament. Like by a lot. I mean, I actually watched him get walked by like this 45-year-old father of 3 who was like 60 pounds overweight, and it was really funny. Yeah, not to go off too much on a tangent.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, so now you kind of spoiled it a little bit, but let's talk about now you guys didn't have a quarterfinal game. You guys went straight semifinals. You ended up playing Canada again, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us about that second Canadian game and how you guys came out with that.
Marker.
So in that game, yes, that was, we had a lot of PKs, and that was the game where we scored like 2 or 3 shorthanded goals in a row. And we were actually down, I think, 1-0 in the beginning of that game too. I think they scored first, and then we scored, and then we got I don't know if we got, was it a couple penalties or did we get a 4-minute? I can't remember. Whatever
there was a couple penalties, and it included a 4-on-2.
That's what it was.
2 full minutes.
Yeah, wow. I think we ended up scoring like 3 goals on the PK.
It was ridiculous. It was you and Robbie.
Oh man, Robbie's a beauty, ain't he?
Unreal. He's in Texas this year, ain't he?
Yeah.
Alan.
Is it Yeah, Alan.
Yeah. No, he's awesome. And yeah, you two just absolutely ripped up the PK. I think didn't we score the same amount of goals on the PK as we did even strength?
I think so.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool. And then in the finals, it was a rematch with the Colombian team because if I'm not mistaken, the pool play was the pool finished was Colombia, USA, Canada, and then Ecuador. Ecuador ended up taking on Colombia, and Colombia smoked them, setting up the finals between you and Colombia because you guys had lost. What was it, 5-3 or 5-2?
I think it was 5-3 because they had an empty netter at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, because I had a chance to watch a little bit of the game, but not a whole lot, because of the time difference. For me, it was like just right at my time because I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, so walk us through that championship game, because that was a tight game as well.
Yeah, I mean, the beginning of that game couldn't have started any better. We literally won the face-off, brought it behind our net, broke out, and scored on the first rush. I think we scored with 14 or 15 seconds into the game, and then after that, it was pretty much like it was a very good game. It was pretty back and forth. I mean, until the end, Aydin got absolutely fucking smoked. And remember that, Aydin? They scored on that. And that was the tie of the game. And if we would have not won after all that, I don't know what I would have done. Like that was how they didn't call that was unbelievable.
Yeah, especially the way it led to the goal because you got destroyed. I think there was about 30 seconds left. It was 3-2. They came down, and when the guy shot the puck, it goes like it's on my pad, but it's like underneath, like half and half underneath my pad, and the guy just eats it and just slides straight into me. So both my legs go straight like back into the net, and I like have my hands in front about the crease, and the ref calls goal. And Robbie just turned to him and looked just like, "You fucking serious?"
Yeah, there was a total of 20 penalty minutes worth of things that could have been called in that 10 to 15 seconds. And I mean, when they say I got smoked, I mean, it was blindsided, basically from behind, like 10 steps walking into it, full-blown ice hockey mid-rink check. Like I got folded. No call. I didn't have the puck either. It was just out of the blue. And then they go down. There's like 4 people on top of Julio, and they're calling it a goal, like a clean, immediate goal with they didn't review it, nothing.
Wow. Did they have review available?
I would say no. I mean, I would imagine for an event like that, they did because everything was honestly top drawer, like really nice. The whole event, the way we were treated, the athletes, everything was awesome. But like going back and watching the live streams, they didn't have a whole lot of stuff like that. So I'm just assuming that they could have had access to it, but they probably just really didn't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wanted to.
That facility was unbelievable.
Oh, it was the biggest facility I think any of us have ever played in for roller. It looked like an Olympic venue.
Wow.
It was unbelievable. I mean, that game was the most attended roller hockey game on Earth since 1999. At like just under 5,000 people. It was
that's awesome.
It was deafeningly loud. It was I mean, there was points where I was like this close to Marker and he could not hear me. It was wild.
That's insane. And Ryan, you had some your aunt was cheering you on, watching you guys play, and then she would post on Facebook, with you scoring a goal and the announcers yelling, the traditional soccer goal.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like go 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 go.
Yeah, and then it was just like long goal
until Aydin scored in overtime, and then it was just Estados Unidos goal.
Goal.
Yeah, it was like the if you go back and watch when Colombia scored their third goal to tie the game, the announcer lost his mind. Go, go, just screaming at the top of his lungs. Like it almost like went over the sound barrier on YouTube where it just muted itself. I mean, they went absolutely nuts. And then I scored in overtime, and he took like a full 2-3 seconds before he just like goal. He clearly did not want to do anything.
Oh.
And then he immediately, like, if you translate it, he immediately started talking about how he didn't like how we were celebrating and we were being classless and things like that. And I think it was because Marvin went into the crowd and started telling everyone to sit down and like going like that. Yeah. So
I actually didn't know all that.
yeah. I had a couple of friends who like speak Spanish, and they were telling me what they were talking about afterwards. And
you know what's really funny about that is actually if you look at the pictures or the video of the celebration in the corner, I didn't jump into the corner with everybody else because I've been through overtime losses that fucking broke my heart. And I was like, my helmet was off, my gloves were off, and I was sprinting to the corner. And I just happened out of the corner of my eye see the Colombian goalie, like hands on his face, like, disheveled. So I actually turned and I didn't go celebrate with the boys. I grabbed him first. And like in my broken Spanish, and Spanglish, I'm telling him like, be very proud. You represented your country well. All of these people here are proud of you. Your country is proud of you. You were phenomenal. Just be proud. Be happy about the moment. And he understood. He spoke a little English, and so we actually had a pretty good like moment with. So it's funny that we were so classless that we were concerned about the other players. Yeah, that's cool.
I think mostly talking about like Marvin. Literally, you can see the clip. He goes to the crowd in full arm extension, like telling everyone to sit down. And so I think that's what he was referencing.
Yeah,
that's Marvin.
So you guys win in overtime. What was that feeling like? I mean, Julio, you just said that you went over to the other goaltender who you battled all game with in a phenomenal game. And then, you gave him some words of wisdom. And then are you guys still friends to this day?
Yeah. So one funny thing about being a goalie in hockey, especially in roller, is that like it's a team sport, but you're on your own island, and you almost have a little bit of a connection with the guy at the other end, whether it's, oh, he made a good save, now I got to make a good save, or, oh, shit, that's a bad goal, I hope he's, all right, almost. And Colombia actually did the same thing that we did in that we were kind of running pretty much 50% all the way with my tendy partner, Pat Hecht, shout out, guy's an absolute beauty. He was my shoulder to cry on when I was pissed off, and he was, he set the tone for me when he was playing the first period and I was playing the second. He was awesome. And Colombia did, the same thing. They were running both their goalies, which, you see a lot of people do at the international level. So just, but even then, it's still like, it's early August in Colombia. I mean, it's super high. You're getting pumped for 20 shots even in one period, and you can get gassed, exhausted. You're laying your heart on the line, and you're giving it everything you got. So I was just, you make connections with all the goalies. Like I traded a t-shirt with the goalie from Ecuador. We're still cool. Yeah, me and the guy from Colombia, we're still cool. Connect on Instagram and all that. So that's just one of the great parts about the international tournaments is you make these friends all around the world, and especially for the goalie community, it's even tighter.
That's awesome. And it's one of those things that most people don't realize is that you guys are the future of Team USA. You're right in that transition where, you still have a couple of the older guys, still trying to finish out their careers at the senior men's, and you're too old for the junior men's, but you're right in that bubble where you could go either way as far as the senior men's, or under 23 type, whatever you want to call it. you guys are literally the future of Team USA. You representing your country as something that I know all three of you have expressed an immense amount of pride because you put on that sweater and you're playing for your country, which is something you guys have dreamed for ever since you were started playing hockey. And now with some of the older guys heading out, you guys are only going to get those opportunities to step up and replace them, and I can't thank this opportunity enough for you guys taking the time to jump on to talk about this, because it next year could be you guys going. I think it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean that's the goal, to get on whatever you want to call it, the big club, whatever, But this year I think the World Games are in China. And I think that the top 8 countries go. So, I mean, that would be cool. So, never know. We'll see what happens.
Be a dream come true. I know. Like a lot of the Team USA guys are I think over half of them are 36 and older. Yeah. So definitely if this wasn't their last go around, like I knew it was for Aydin, then maybe one more time around as a victory lap. And there'll be a couple of opportunities for movement.
Yeah. And just real quick about how important it is for all of us. I know we all felt the same way. Any pictures, there's so many pictures of all of us crying and hugging each other and everything, especially the one when everybody's in the corner. And then there's one, I can't believe it made it on the broadcast. We're all coming back from the corner, skating back to the bench to celebrate. And I literally just fall to my knees and just flat on my face. I just so overcome with emotion. Everything hit me at once. We're wearing the USA jerseys. We just did it. We just won an international medal in overtime. I literally cover my face with my glove and cry. Everybody was so emotional about it. Like you said, it's something when you start, you dream about. So I don't think any of us, we're not done by any means, but we couldn't be more proud to achieve that goal, because it just reaffirms even more that we're ready for the next step. We're moving for that one.
Yeah, and it was definitely like a feeling of relief too, because all three of us were on the same team in Argentina, and we were on the opposite side of that. We lost an OT in the gold medal game. So it was good to get that back. And actually, Shweta, didn't it happen to you in Brazil too?
Yeah, so 2022, we lost with 11 seconds left in overtime in Argentina to Argentina. Last year, 2023, I played on the college all-star team. We lost to Brazil in overtime with 11 seconds left. So had it happened a third time in Colombia to Colombia, 11 seconds left in overtime, pretty sure I would have killed myself. And that would have been the end of my career. I don't think I could have handled that 3 times in a row. But thankfully it didn't. So it definitely meant a lot more that we failed twice in a row and got so literally as close as you could possibly get without achieving it 2 times in a row. And then to finally get it was just, we were on cloud 9 for quite some time. And I think that's the perfect transition to our plane story, Julio.
Oh yeah. So Marker missed out on all this because, new dad, he's on baby duty. So literally we celebrate in the locker room. We're all singing our victory song and we are the champions and stuff. And he's like, all right, boys, see you back in the States. We're like, what? He's like, yeah, I got an Uber. I'm going to go back to the hotel. I'm catching a flight in 6 hours. He was heading back home right away. But me and Aydin and the rest of the boys we had an entire day, because they said the closing ceremonies were going to be the next day originally. So we all booked for 2 days later, and then they just made the closing ceremonies that night, right after we played. So we had kind of a free day in Colombia, and then a whole day to drink. And
so we got obliterated, obviously. And that night, when we were still in the airport, we kept going, and we were still pretty off our rocker. And we got onto the plane, and me and Julio were in an emergency exit row. And the flight attendant came up to us and said that we were too drunk to sit in the emergency exit row. And so they bumped us up to first class. And we sat in first class for the whole plane ride back because we were too drunk. And it was awesome.
Even more so than that, before we got on the plane, Schwetzy got a nosebleed. So we were late to board because he had a nosebleed. And we got up there, and I was actually in the emergency exit row. And I told the people when I walked in, I was like, hey, he's with me. He had a medical emergency he had to take care of. So can he be in the emergency exit row with me? And they were like, and they saw just like the half a tampon stuffed up his nose to stop it. And they were like, yeah, oh no, it's totally fine, totally fine. Like, they were so nice and so accommodating. They probably knew what was going on with us the whole time, but they were awesome.
Yeah, and then I mean, keep in mind we're in our full Team USA like Olympic style tracksuits with the gold medals around our necks. So we were like that the whole plane ride there. And we got off the plane in Newark, New Jersey, while the Paris Olympics were going on. And there was 4 of us, right? There was 4 of us in full Team USA tracksuits with gold medals. And we got off the plane and we just start seeing clapping. And they're like,
nice.
And we're looking around and we're like, what's going on? And they're all staring at us. And we're looking at each other and we're like, they watched the Pan American Roller Hockey Championships. Like, what's going on right now? And then someone finally, like a couple minutes later, walked up. Like, they're all asking for photos, and we're taking photos. And it's literally like the whole airport, like right in front of us. Everyone that was standing right in front of us.
Like, people working for the airlines and stuff were like asking to take our picture and autographs and like everything.
And then that finally one guy is asking for a photo. He's like, "How was Paris?" And we all looked at each other like, "Oh." They all think we just and like we did not. It took us a minute to put it together until he said that, but it was so funny. It was so awesome. And finally, once we got out of the airport, we're like, all right, we got to take all this stuff off.
Because we went to like, me and Schwetzy went to like a random McDonald's in the train station of Newark, and it was like, we probably could have seen somebody like pooping in a cardboard box in the corner off somewhere. We were like, we're about to get mugged if we keep these gold medals on, bro. We gotta tone it down.
It was quite the experience for sure.
Now I do have to ask for those that are curious, because I'm curious. Were you guys holding up your medals kind of like how Wayne and Garth were with their backstage passes in Wayne's World? You know, like, hey, check it out. Like, I won the gold. Like, probably not, but I can just picture that, as you guys are walking through, like checking it out, especially with all the clapping. But
I 100% told everybody keep them out. They were like, "Oh, should we take these off? Should we put them under the jacket?" I was like, "No, dude. Like, I'm not saying like impersonate that we were in the Olympics or anything, but like, we just won a gold medal.
Right?
Be fucking proud. Like, let's just
you
live
earned it. Yeah, you earned it. You busted. You represented your country. It's a big deal, and I think it's incredible. What an opportunity you guys had. I'm not sure what your guys' future is together as teammates. Hopefully, I see you on Team USA representing again, winning some more golds, taking out some more teams. I think that's going to be something that from as a roller hockey fan who loves to cover just about everything pertaining to roller, I want to see you guys thrive, and I will continue to live vicariously through you guys, and cheer you guys on each step of the way.
Appreciate it. Thank you
absolutely. And actually, really quick to end it, Aydin, what's that thing that you're going to in, you said 6 weeks? Or was that like another college type of thing?
Yeah, so every year the college league sends an all-star team down to Brazil, and I'll be going again for the second time in November 10th to the 18th. It's a big event. Like, there'll be us, Brazil's senior and junior team, Mexico, Argentina, Colombia, Uruguay, and Peru, and maybe Chile.
Okay.
I mean, like a lot of the South American countries come to this. And it's a lot of fun. I mean, last time I went, I could not have possibly been treated any more like a celebrity. Literally just constantly signing autographs and taking photos with kids, and it was unbelievable. I had one night I had some guy randomly pay for my steak dinner at a steakhouse we went to, and all he wanted was for me to meet his son. It was
That's
it was
awesome.
an unbelievable experience. I can't wait to do it again. I'm hoping I'm 100% by the time that event rolls around, as I've been healing an ankle injury, pretty severe ankle injury for the last 3 months that happened down in Colombia at the Pan Americans. I haven't skated since. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it's I literally should be healed like the week before I'm supposed to leave. So I'm cutting it pretty close.
And Mark, you want to go coach that?
I was
originally
going to coach, and then I found a doctor who promised me that she would have me up and 100% again in 30 days. So I'm following her program. And it's my ankle is significantly better than it was 3 weeks ago. But we'll see if I'm really 100% in 2 more weeks.
Oh, that's awesome. I can't wait to cover that. I'm just getting ready to drop some more of the World Skate Games podcast stuff that I've had on the back burner. Just being sick the last couple weeks has kind of just put a damper on all of my editing time. So I was able to knock out a few episodes from almost like 5 weeks prior. It should be able to be back up and running. So you'll see 2 episodes a week, and hopefully we can continue that and make it run.
Oh yeah,
Love it.
But again, thanks so much, guys, for taking the time to come on. Ryan, I know you're excited to get back in and try not to wake the baby up when you go inside.
yeah. Got to tiptoe into the house.
Yeah. No, I have to do this.
Baby hears everything, I swear.
Oh, mine. As soon as you set her down, that's not on her. Like if she's not in our bed, or if I set her down on the couch to go to the bathroom, after she was out, and she was up within 2 minutes, and I was like, "Come on!" Like I had to go to the bathroom, and I didn't want to wake Mama up, But if I put her in her own crib, she's up. But if I lay her down in our bed, she's out. As long as she's touching Mama, she's fine. Or if she's touching me, she's good. So
that was the biggest transition that we had to work on. So in the beginning, obviously the baby's right next to you in your room, which it sucks because our bed like creaks so bad when you get into it.
Yeah.
Little movement, the baby. So I just finally I had enough of it. I told Emily, I was like, we have to get her in her crib. I can't sleep like this anymore because like every movement, the baby would wake up. So we got like these cameras and stuff like that. Like we're like, if she cries, you'll hear like from her being like 2 rooms down. So it's been so much better ever since we did that.
Yeah, and it's only going to get better, but then it's going to regress a little bit because she's just going to not be happy. But hopefully that regression is short-lived. So get your sleep when you can, because I'm telling you, you're going to need it.
Yeah, like I taught to every young parent, and I don't know what it is with our baby, sleeps 9 to 10 hours every single night.
Dude, that's amazing.
And at first, like I was questioning it because I hear how like every other parent, like every 2 to 3 hours the kid's up, and I was like getting concerned a little bit. I'm like, do I think she's eating enough? Like when every time we take her to the doctors, her weight's perfect, everything's so whatever we're doing is fine. It's just whatever. I mean, she outsleeps both of us, which is insane to say about a baby.
What she's doing is she's setting you up for failure. She's like, hey, you just had a great baby experience with me. Let's give me a little brother or sister. And then that one is going to be the terror of your life.
I don't know.
I'm telling you.
I don't know. I think at first I thought the wife for sure wanted like 2 or 3. I think after one, I don't know. Now I really don't. I think it's 50-50 if we have another one.
No,
Yeah, I don't know.
If you do, just brace yourself for that. I know it took me 4 years before I said, let's do another one.
Yeah.
But
Hey, it could definitely change.
Yeah. Like with Luke, I had no issues. He slept through the night, no problem. And with this one, it's like a completely different animal.
I could only imagine.
So, but yeah. So on that note, boys, you had a chance to take a look at what parenting's like with toddlers, or with babies. Brace yourself, because it's a lot of sleepless nights. But at the end of the day, it's so worth it, especially when they wrap their hand around your finger, or they rub, like when they're sleeping on you, and they're touching you and rubbing you. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's a different feeling for sure.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit before we started the podcast officially, I think, but one of my nieces, absolute terror, running around, doesn't listen, all crazy. But then in one moment, she'll stop, she'll turn around and just throw her arms around and just be like, I missed you. It's like, damn it, you're cute. Yeah. I can only imagine, like, for your actual kid, it's just even more of those moments.
Oh, Joel, just remember what Luke said, Dad. When you cuddle with me, I feel protected. And it was like, dude, just go to sleep.
Yeah, right.
And that's after you lose your shit. But at the same time, you're just like, it's worth it.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, it's worth it.
Obviously, everyone always says, you never want to time flies by, like don't take any time for granted, but I can't wait to, get her on skates. That's all I think about every day. I can't wait for that moment to, be able to teach her how to play.
Well, I know Luke is the same way. He's like, Dad, when can I play hockey? And I go, you got to learn you got to do a better job skating. You got to get on those inline skates that I got you. He goes, Dad, but those are so hard. And I go, yeah, but ice hockey skates are a little harder. And he's like, oh, real? And I'm like, yeah, buddy, but if anybody can do it, it's you. And he's like, all right. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah. But Aydin, good luck with the Israel, with Team Israel. I can't wait to talk to you about that in the future. Again, Julio, thank you so much for taking the time. We're going to get you on just for your own episode here in the near future. Ryan, drive safe, bud, and we'll catch you guys on the flip side.
No, absolutely. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Thank you.
On the power play, that ship's going to be able to dump the puck down, and a shorthanded scoring opportunity leads to an incredible save by Julio Fernandez. Best.
Para Galván, buena jugada, a ver, termina, buen pase, sí señor,
That's going to do it for this episode of GCH Podcast. I'm your host, Ben W. Stock, alongside Chris Greco. Thanks for tuning in. Please make sure you like and subscribe on all our platforms on YouTube and on Spotify. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Cheers.